Welcome to Lab 10, which is called Implement Data Protection. And what we're going to do here is basically use Azure Backup for backing up a virtual machine. And then restoring it again afterwards. So what we need to do first is provision some infrastructure. So we have a custom template given to us as part of the lab instructions. And I'm also going to upload the parameters. There we go. And then create that, making sure that we are using a resource group as intended and setting the password. Everything else should be okay. All right, that's created. What we should have here is roughly one virtual machine in a virtual network and all of the additional things that are required for that. So next up, let's go over to recovery services, vaults. And let's create one. This is what we need for our backups. I'm going to use the same resource group for this one. I'm going to call this AZ-104 Recovery Services Vault in Region 1, right? And it's going to be East US. So let's just create this. All right, now it's deployed. So let's go and take a look at it. So one thing that we can do over here under settings is properties. And you can see that we can change quite a bit of things here. The one thing that we would want to change here is the backup configuration. We have different options for storage replication here. It's currently on geo-redundant, but could be also locally or zonally redundant. And then we have cross-region restore enabled or disabled. Currently, we have that disabled. Another thing we could take a look at is soft delete. So we have soft delete enabled. And the retention period for soft deletes is 14 days by default. All right, let's keep those. Then let's start a backup. So we're adding a backup to this recovery services vault. And we need to first define whether it's on-prem or Azure or kind of in between. So it's, of course, in Azure, and it's going to be a virtual machine. We also have other options here. Virtual machine is going to be the most used one. So let's back that up. There are two different policy types available for us, enhanced or standard. We are happy with the standard option. For your case, there is a short list of differences visible here, but as always, go to the documentation to see. Let's create a new backup policy here. Let's call it AZ-104 backup. And we want to have it scheduled on a daily frequency. I want to do it at midnight. It's going to be 12 a.m. I'm in UTC. So let's just say that specifically I'm in Western Europe. And we are happy to retain instance recovery snapshots for 2 days, right? So we're going to have 2 backups available. That's okay. So now we're using that backup policy. Then we go down here to virtual machines. We don't have currently any targets for this backup. So let's add the virtual machine that was created earlier. Okay, and then we enable. Okay, that worked. Let's go back. To recovery services. And now under the backup blade here, we see that nothing is going on. We have 1 backup item. We can go to protected items down here and backup items to see a list. So you see we have 1 Azure virtual machine, and this is our virtual machine. Note that there is a backup pre-check here that is run by recovery services, and this virtual machine has paused that. So it is likely that everything is going to work. And then the last backup status is in a warning state because the initial backup hasn't yet been done. So we don't actually have a backup currently. We can also look at this in a more detailed view like this, right? So one of the things that we could do here is back up this now, right? Not wait until midnight, but just make sure that we have a backup. And then we could select for how long we want to retain this backup. I'm just going to say for a month, the default option right now. So now it starts the backup. You can see here it's going to be in progress. Meanwhile, let's take a look at how we can then monitor this backup process. And for that, we're going to need to have a storage account. So let's quickly go and create one. It's going to be my globally unique name 123. East US should be good. Everything else just as standard. All right, that's deployed. So let's go back to our recovery services vault. And then here we go to the monitoring tab, and specifically diagnostic settings. We're going to add diagnostic setting, logs and metrics to storage. We need to pick Azure backup reporting data, add on Azure backup job data, add on Azure backup alert data, Azure's site recovery jobs and events, and then we want to have health. And we want to send them to our storage account. which is already pre-populated. So let's save this. All right. So let's go back to our Vault here and take a look at the backup jobs. And we can see that there is one backup that is currently in progress. This is our first machine. We can take a look at details here. Basically, that it has been running for 4 minutes now, taking a snapshot. All right, so let's go back to recovery services vaults, and let's create another one. Now we need this for region 2. So we're going to create a new resource group, AZ-104 RG region 2. And we're going to call the vault AZ-104 RSV region 2. I'm going to put it into West US. And then create. All right, that has been created. So let's now go via our virtual machine. So we had a VM here. And we can go to backup and disaster recovery. And under backup, we're seeing the backup that we have created, right? And now it has already, well, it has not succeeded. This is from, I think this is the default value, but it is backing up, okay? So what we can do next here is there's also a different tab called disaster recovery. So what we can do here is basically select which region we want our virtual machine to be targeted to, okay? So let's select, it's supposed to be West US. And then advanced settings. So the resource group of the virtual machine is in region 1. And in the new target environment, it's going to be in the region 2 resource group. We're going to have to create a new VNet over there. It's just going to be a single instance, and there is no proximity placement required. Seems okay. You can take a look at storage settings here. There's a cache storage account that we could use. It's going to be auto-created for us. Then in replication settings, we can define where exactly things are going to be shown in, and it's the region 2 vault service. It's going to create a new retention policy for this. Let's just see if we can start this. Okay, it's somewhat ready. Let's go and take a look whether we can see this already in the recovery services vault. Over here in region 2. If you take a look at the protected items, there shouldn't be any backup items, but there should be one replicated. It's not there yet. So we need to wait for it to finish. So now, finally, our virtual machine shows up here on the list. You can see that replication health seems to be healthy. And yeah, unfortunately, we can't do anything yet. So it's still setting up, enabling protection in this case. And next up, preparing the target and so on and so on. But at least we could see that it did start to do things correctly. All right, that's everything for this lab. To delete everything, remember that you have 2 resource groups now, one for each region. So try to remember to delete both of them so that you don't get any additional charges afterwards. But thanks a lot for listening to me for this lab, and see you again in the next one. Till then.